Hi there, welcome to PcShed. My name is Sergio and today we're going to do a little video in regards to this little bad boy, KFA2 1080 GTX. This is a card that virtually I know for a fact is absolutely behemoth of a performance GPU, and I just wanted to do a little bit of a coverage on it in regards to how it performs. Also a friend of mine, Andrew, who also has his YouTube channel, I sent him this and he's doing a bit of a comparison in regards to different cards, see how he gets on with that. So check out his channel, AJ Atomica, for that review and performance benchmarks. He's actually quite in-depth when he does his reviews. For me, I'm more of how does it perform out of the box and how much overclocking on air does it do. So I'm going to whack this bad boy into my old aging Z97 platform of 4790K, 32 gigs of DDR3 RAM running at 2133, and we'll see how this performs. Okay.
KFA2 1080 GTX. Bit of a monster of a card, so let's get this open and see what it's got to offer for us. Now this card is of course a custom PCB, and it's got a very cool design. So in the box, as you can see, a bit bland, but what's inside that matters. Here we go. So first off, we've got a bit of a quick guide, setup steps for anybody that needs that, but I don't think we're gonna need that. But anybody that hasn't installed a GPU, that can come in handy. They also have, of course, the HOF Flexi Hold installation guard. This card weighs a ton, so it comes with a pole. Drivers, if you need any drivers, but you can download them from NVIDIA. And of course, they use a manual if you want to put them in SLI. And if you want to stick this in your door, if need be, do not disturb while gaming. Now, the card itself is a behemoth of a card. I waited a long time to get these cards, and it is for sale. But before selling them, you've got to test them. So as you can see, it's a custom PCB, white fans, 3 fans altogether. Hall of Fame that actually lights up, and of course a backplate to make sure it stays nice and rigid. There is attachments that goes on this card. It's for the pole, either at the front or the side. The pole inside is pretty straightforward. If you got a MIDI case or a full tower case, it'll fit. It just provides a bit of more rigidity when you carry the PC to LAN party, stuff like that. So this is the bracket that attaches to either the front or at the side. Depends how long your case is, but I personally prefer it at the side so it's out of the way. Power supply wise, you're gonna need 2 8-pin PSI Express connectors, but if you don't have that, you got some additional extensions for the card. Very heavy, but it's pretty good quality. The actual PCB is quite nice and clean, nice silver. If you got an RGB lighting, that'll shine through nicely. There's not really much you can say about the card except it is an enormous card. But there you go, 1080 GTX by Galaxy. Alrighty, so I thought we were looking a little bit more in depth of some of the HOF 1080 specs, and I could just clarify a few things that have been bugging me on the forums. So people ask, what's the difference, what's the point of paying extra money for a aftermarket card? The Founders Edition is the best card that they've developed, so why would you go and get a custom card like this? So I'll answer a few of those questions, but apart from the custom cooling and the power phase and the unique look, because it is a stunning card, let's scroll down to the specs and I'll give you some clarification. So the specs of this specific card comes factory overclocked, base clock at 1733, and the boost, the auto boost, goes to 1873. Okay, it's got the same number of CUDA cores, same memory running as the actual Founders Edition, as you can see. So Founders Edition 1607 base, boost to 1733. And what's funny about that, 1733 is the starting point of the actual HOF. So I'll just give you an idea there. Secondly, the card, when it was released back in May, 3D Guru has done a fantastic job actually doing a full-on review, and they've confirmed that they could get the card that they received. Yes, it was the 1607 on core, boosted to 1733, and they've managed to overclock it with 200 megahertz on the core, 500 on the memory, and that gave a performance boost of between 1950 to 2065. All good, all gravy. Now here's the thing that's been pissing me off. So a website called PC Enthusiast did a half decent review on the actual Galax, and they even called it the White Beast, and they were quite thorough. They tested some games, but this is the information that people that do their own testing, and then they can't figure out how come I'm getting different performance than theirs, either below it or under it. But here they're understating the card by a mile. So they saying that by turning the one-click OC, so what that is the HOF 1080 uses a piece of software called a Stream Tuner Plus, which is this, and that allows you to overclock your card. Stick that back to default if I can, and because I was overclocking it. And what that means that you can overclock your card. There's some presets already made there. This is where you use to control your lighting of the card, control of the voltage across. So it's all fun and it's all nice, but I prefer to use MSI Afterburner. So this is what they're referring to, right? So close that. So this is the bit that is a bit confusing. So they're saying by turning the one-click overclock, pushing the card to 5% higher, you'll get a base clock speed of 1827 and a boost of 1967. Between that and 2038 on full load. That's 14% increase of the stock speed of the reference 1080 Founders Edition. So this is where it's virtually not right, because the card itself, without any overclock, actually boosts past the 2 gig, and I can prove that now to you. Right, so I will get a benchmark going, and here we are, heaven. Okay, tessellation, 1080p, anti-aliasing, all that good stuff. So I'm going to run it, and I'm going to bring the window into it. And I'm going to bench it, and you can see that the card boosts to 2012 without any overclock whatsoever, because the card comes pre-overclocked starting at 1733. So what they're saying there is incorrect, and there is a lot of headroom for more overclocking. So we're going to see actually what is the difference between this card and the NVIDIA's Founders Edition, and you'll see very quickly how easy this is. So I'm just waiting to see where you will stabilize. This is the dynamic auto boost 3.0 adjusting the voltage. It's not bottlenecking or anything. It's the difference between Pascal and Maxwell cards, the way it auto boosts. So it looks like 1987 is the area, and again, this is on stock. Nothing's been changed. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. I'll just close that. And I'm going to bring you a bit of a spreadsheet which I've done. It kind of helps clarify this. So as you can see here, that's the NVIDIA 1080, 1607, 1733 boost. The actual boost in megahertz is 126, which is exactly the overclock that Galaxy, or under the European trade name KFA2, done with the HOF 1080. Starts at 1733, and now, after we've done that little benchmark, we know that it boosts to 1987, and it means that the actual boost of the card is significantly higher, 254 megahertz. Right, now we look at very quickly at what they actually put on a core. They put around 200 on a core. So if we put that 200 on a core, it gives a 1933. Now, give or take, I would say accuracy between 13 to 26 megahertz. Okay, they did state that it was 1950 to 2065.
Infantry will go in the first whistle, then we follow.
Heavens above, you ever seen anything like this?
I have, I'm sorry to say. Listen, we're going to cut down the guns up by that windmill. Give our boys some room. That's our cue. Go ahead! PcShed works. Don't get us stuck in the mud like that. They got one of ours! Aye, Sprut, drive!
There must be a better life than this.
Well, to summarise the performance of this card, what can I say? I absolutely love the look. The look is superb. It's solid, super quiet. It's got one hell of a sexy backplate. It overclocks like a beast. The overclocking already comes factory overclocked, but you can still get extra performance, pretty much exactly the same amount of overclock. I managed to get 252 megahertz on the base clock. That brought the boost up to 2150. Now with any GTX 1080s with the turbo boost 3.0, you know, as soon as you get past the 42 degree, you start getting some decreases in performance. That's due to how the dynamic turbo boost works. Now with this card, because of the massive fans that it actually has, it maintains really cool temperatures. Also has this very useful turbo boost button, and what that does, it increases the fans to its maximum. So when you're benchmarking, you don't even have to use the MSI afterburner to adjust your fan profiles, which is great. For underload and normal gaming, super quiet. There's plenty of scope to overclock it further. There is a water block that exists for this card by Bits Power. Can't get it here in the UK. I've looked, and that was one of the plans that I had for this card before moving them on. Now, I got to admit, it is a heavy card. Okay, you can't, and that, I can understand why they bring included on the package a support pole, which you can attach either at the side or at the front for long-term usage. But most modern motherboards now, especially the Z270, the X99, comes with the stainless steel reinforced PSI Express slot, and that is because the cards are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. My good friend Andrew, AJ Atomica, YouTuber, I sent him a card for him to do a bit of a comparison. He's not done that video yet, so a bit of a hint there for you, Andrew. Again, he got very good performance out of it from the EVGA classified 1080 GTX. If you have a white case, you want a white build, this is the perfect card. I mean, I can't say anything more about this. It does take two 8-pin. The new version of the GTX 1080 Ti actually has 3 8-pin, so it's a monster. But for 1080p, don't even consider this. It's absolutely overkill. You saw some of the benchmarks in the games. I used two 27-inch 2560 by 1440p IPS monitors. I used virtually maxed everything out, but you didn't even have to. You know, anti-aliasing is times 16, it was just not necessary, and you're still getting fantastic frames per second. The actual worst games optimized, and I had to put it in. It was Batman Arkham Knight. You saw that you got 2 frames per second improvement by improving the actually overclock to 2150. And then of course that reduced slightly on 13 megahertz steps. But that's ridiculous. That's how badly optimized that game is. And then you go to Battlefield 1 and you saw a great improvement. And consider this, that I was recording the gameplay using NVIDIA Shadowplay. So that takes another 5 frames out of the equation. So yeah, 1440p, this card is great. 4K, I use my NVIDIA upscaling on my monitor, and you can do 4K. Don't expect to get 60 frames a second out of it on a 4K panel with this card. As much I would love to say that he can't do 60. You'll need a TI or Titan X Pascal to be able to get that. But for the price to performance ratio, the way it performs, overclocks on air, over 2 gigahertz, is fantastic. So there you are. So I have 3 of these, and when I started doing this unboxing, and because I had a little bit of, I'll put that aside, I haven't done nothing for the last 4 months, so that can be put on a back burner. So it's not exactly a review as such, it's more of showing you what the card can do, because I am selling everything up. I'm selling up all this gear behind me. If you've been following my Twitter or Facebook account, you'll know that I virtually put everything on auction on eBay. Links on the description if you want to virtually grab yourself a bargain. So I just thought I would do this video to just show possible people out there that might be interested on this card, because if when you go into YouTube, there's not many people that have done reviews on the actual card itself, just because Galax is more it's not an European brand. Galax company trade in UK under the brand KFA2. They are huge in China. And the HOF stands for Hall of Fame. And for anybody that does PC gaming or benchmarking, you will know 3D Mark Hall of Fame. Each year, pretty much every single record gets broken by one of these cards, utilized by the likes of 8-Pack, Kingpin, using liquid nitrogen. So yeah, but if you can get a unlock BIOS for the card, and that's pretty much across all GTX 1080s, NVIDIA were a bit shady in regards to locking down the voltages, because you cannot get past 1.094 volts. So what this card does is gets the maximum performance, although there's restraints by NVIDIA, not by the card's manufacturer. But you can get BIOS and flash the actual BIOS itself and get that unlocked. Now, I advise if you do that, get yourself a water block, because most of the BIOS tend to have a constant current, and that will heat up your card pretty quickly if you're just using it on air. So there you are, the Galax KFA2 Hall of Fame GTX 1080. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you'd like to check some of my other contents that I've done, feel free to do so. I've done quite a fair bit on folding at home, hence why we're actually selling up to build a dedicated long-term folding at home rig for the I Am a Million campaign. So until next time, thanks very much and goodbye.